Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to today's episode of Teens 360 with Savik. It is a forum where we talk to teens, parents, leaders, pastors, teachers, and guardians with the aim to equip them with tools that will help them guide our teenagers towards fulfilling their colorful destinies on earth. Previous episode, we've been able to look at several things ranging from love them before correcting them and so on and so forth. But on today's episode, we're going to look at teens are open to their bestie and not their leaders. Teens open up to their friends more than their leaders. And we are going to be using the word leader or leadership here in a generic form. You know, the leader could be the pastor, could be the teacher, could be the guardian, could be the president, could be even the parent. We are going to be using the word leadership in a generic form for this episode. And so, teenage is a special age where the teenager is battling with decision, with self-understanding, with life understanding. Make no mistakes, no teenager has fully come to a full understanding or grasp of what life is. Make no mistake about that. No matter how they form, no matter how they pretend that they know what they are doing, no matter how they pretend that they know who they are, they know what they want. No teen has come to a full understanding of what life is. And so everything they do is by the spur of the moment, by the spur of the social moment, by the trends of the time. So having an understanding of how to guide them navigate through this phase of life will become a great advantage to you as a parent, as a leader, as a guardian, as a teacher, or as a pastor of teenagers. It's a very unique and wonderful season of life. You can't grade them as kids. You also cannot grade them as adults. Like we said last week, no teen keeps 100% secrets. Your teen is talking to someone. There is somebody somewhere that they run to for counsel, because teen age is an age of multiple counseling. They need so much advice because they take so much decisions on daily basis. On daily basis, ranging from academic decisions to religious decisions to faith-based decisions to social decisions to fashion decisions to destiny decisions to career decisions to relationship decisions, and so on and so forth. There's just so much decisions for them to take at teenage. Remember, that's when they will decide whether they will do art or science. That's when they will even decide to make up their mind as to what course they want to pursue in the university. That's when they will decide whether they want to do boyfriend or girlfriend. That's when they will decide what type of hairstyle they want to do, whether they want to keep dreads, whether they want to barb galas, see Ronaldo, all of those, style. That's when they will decide whether they want to be wearing baggy jeans. That's where they will decide whether they want to do boys or they want to do girls, whether they want to be gay or not. That's where they will decide the kind of life generally they want to live. That decision basically is molded as a teenager. And they are greatly influenced by who they talk to. And now that brings us to the question, who does teenagers talk to? Very simple answer. The teenager talks to his best friend. His best friend. Remember, We said in our previous edition of Teens 360 that nature bequeaths you the right as a parent. They didn't choose you as their parent. Nature gave you as their parent. They didn't choose you as their teacher. School imposed you on them as their teacher. They didn't choose you as their leader. Just somehow you were appointed their leader. They didn't choose you as their guardian. They didn't choose you as their senior, their uncle. No, nature gave them this. But you see the one called friend. You see the one called best friend. It is their choice. They choose. You can't impose it on them. But you can walk yourself into that zone called friendship zone of a teenager. And of course, this is what we have consistently reiterated from the onset of this Teens 360. For you to play the active role that you need to play in the life of a teenager, you must exist in the friend zone. You must exist in the friend zone. For your good intention for the teenager to come to reality, for your good intention for the teenager to be real, to be actualized, then you must live in the friend zone. Bullying does not put you in the friend zone. Being mean does not put you in the friend zone. Being called, some people say, my teenagers know that I'm a no-nonsense person. If I come, they disappear. Sir, ma, you are becoming a monster. You are becoming a monster. See, and being a monster does not make you a disciplinarian for a teenager. No. It could make you a disciplinarian for the children, but not for the teenager. Because what it will only bring you... See, when you are a monster, when you are the dreaded one for the teen, what happens is that when they come before you, they be who you want them to be. When they go outside of you, they become who they want to be. So, what you end up raising as a monster, as a dreaded person for the teenager, is that you end up raising pretenders. So, what you end up grooming will be pretenders. Teenagers who become what you want them to be before you, and then behind you they become what they want to be. That's why most times I've seen a situation where a woman fainted because he was told his child or her child was arrested alongside with armed robbers. She said it's not true, that her child is a pastor. Interesting, very funny. But that's how I tell pastors, and especially pastors and leaders in the religious circle for teenagers, be careful, be wary, lest you are going to raise teenagers you don't even know. Let me ask you, do you really know your teen? That teenager that is under your custody, do you really know him or her? If they do not sit you down and tell you about them, then you do not know them. Then you do not live in their world. You do not exist in their life. Let me ask you, dear teens leader, teens pastor, teens guardian, teens teacher, do you really know your teens? Do you really know them? Or you see, if they are not telling you deep things about them, forget it. You do not know the teenager in your house, under your care, that you are teaching. They end up being who you want them to be before you, so that to avoid your wahala. To avoid your wahala. You want them to be praying, they will pray before you. You want them to be sanctimonious, to be churchious. See, one of the days I had a conversation with a pastor, and I said to him, do you know that most teenagers who opposite sex in fellowship in church or in school, most of when they play together before you, nothing really is going on between them. But you see those two that don't talk to each other, you don't know what happens behind. So most times when a male teen comes close to a female teen, you see You see most adults, you see most teens parents, teens pastors, teens teachers say, hey, why do you not know that goat and yam are not supposed to stay together, and all those things and all those things and all those things? Are you doing a good job? Yes. But are you doing the right job for the teenager? No, you are not. You are not. You are going to end up raising pretenders. You are going to end up raising actors, beautiful actors, who will act before you, who will become perfect beings. And when you hear the stories of what they do in your absence, you will be shocked. Your BP will shoot up. I told you about a woman who fainted because he had her teen was involved in robbery. Like the teen was an armed robber. She would not believe it in the widest of her imagination. If a juju was brought for her to swear, she will swear. That's how it is to some of us. Now, if you are a parent, you are a leader, you are a pastor, you are a guardian of teenagers, and your teen has someone else they call mentor, role model, and blah, 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 then believe you me, that teenager has no confidence in you to a great extent. It's either the teenager have tried talking to you, you are not understanding their language, you are not putting yourself in their shoe. 1, 2, or you do not have time for that teenager, you don't give them attention. 3, or you have become the beast that they fear to talk to you. It's either you are not understanding them, you're not giving them attention, or you have become that dreaded monster that they cannot talk to in the name of discipline, in the name of being mean, in the name of being a disciplinarian. They can no longer talk to you. Create that atmosphere and have that understanding that teenagers are free and talk to those they consider as friends. Especially, you see those ones they call bestie. See, you don't need to be a teenager to become the bestie to a teenager. I have quite a number of teenagers who openly talk to me things they cannot even talk to their parents. But one of the things I do not actually do the mentor thing kind of a thing. I usually try the possible best to refer them back to their parents by first of all talking to their parents. Because the best person to raise a teenager is the parent. That's actually the best person to confide in. But most times you as a parent, you put yourself in a situation where they cannot even tell you their mistakes. See, normalize having that understanding. Normalize this thing. Teenagers will always make mistakes. I need you to normalize it. You yourself that is an adult, you know they are making mistakes because you have crossed that stage. Teenagers will always make mistakes. It is part of their growth process. So normalize having that understanding that they will always make mistakes. And if you are able to be in a situation or be in the position where they can freely tell you about their mistakes, congratulations, you are going to raise one of the best teenagers on earth. You are going to raise the teenager of your dream. Normalize it. Let it be, the consciousness be in you. And then when they come with those mistakes, when they come with those nonsense, so to say, that they do, what's your first reaction? Very, very important. Your first reaction will tell them to come again next time when they make mistake. Am I saying that those rubbish mistakes should be repeated? No, they shouldn't. Remember, Teens 360, we talk to teens parents, teens leaders and teens guidance, and not teenagers themselves. So I believe that you watching this podcast today, you are a parent, you are a pastor, you are a leader of teens, you are a guardian to teenagers. Normalize and get to a position in the life of a teenager where they can comfortably and conveniently tell you, Daddy, I think I've messed up. Daddy, this is what I did and I'm not feeling comfortable about it. Normalize bring yourself to a point where they can talk to you. This will help you. Dear pastor, breed yourself. Be so close to your teenagers where they can live their normal life before you. Where they can speak before you. Where they can call themselves their nicknames before you. Where they can eat the way they eat outside before you. Where they can say their nuances before you. If they can't say it before you, how then will you correct them? How then will you guide them? Until you bring yourself to a point where these teenagers can flow with you, they can roll with you, they can parley with you, then it becomes a challenge for you to guide them, for you to help them, for you to groom them, for you to lead them towards achieving their colorful destiny. Remember, we are dealing with teens talk to their bestie, they talk to their best of friends, and not to the naturally bequeathed leaders over them. And in the concept of leadership here, we're talking about parents, pastors, teachers, guardians, and their leaders generally. The people they talk to are not these natural authorities over them. The only thing they can bring to you as a natural authority over them is complaint. Teens bring complaints to natural authorities over them, whereas they pour their hearts to their best of friends. Teens brings complaint to their natural authorities, parents, teachers, guardians, pastors, leaders. They bring complaints to these natural authorities over them, but they pour their hearts to their best of friends. That best of friends could be people they call role model, mentors, the people they have confidence in. They have confidence in, emphasis on confidence. They have confidence that you will understand them. They have confidence that you will manage the situation. They have confidence that you are going to keep their secret and handle it only between you and them. They have confidence that they are going to get solution in your hands and not condemnation. And if you are going to exist in that zone for teenagers, you are going to learn to isolate the deed of the teenager from the teenager. What he or she did is not who he or she is. He or she may have done those things out of societal pressure, out of stupidity that is bound in the heart of children, but it is not who he or she is. That's not who they are. It is their deed, it is their error. It is what... Check the kind of things that are trending around and check the kind of pressure that they are going through. Don't always... See, most times teenagers don't like it when you mention those your 1982, when we were growing up. When you were growing up, was there social media? No, when you were growing up, was there Android? Was there iPhone? Do you know what social media is? People were writing letter that time. Now we don't do letter. When you were growing up, was there the Badi generation? Was the video there? Was Olamide there? You know, when you were growing up, was Pella there? Was Jarvis there? All of these influencers, were they existing? You know, when you hear of influencers, you don't even know the strength of their grip over our teenagers. They are not called influencers because of you adults. They are called influencers because of what they do to the life of our teenagers. And so, ignoring this heavy influence on them and citing 1982 when you were growing up as an instance for them makes no meaning. You know, it gets some of us young people irritated when our leaders say, when we were in secondary school, government was feeding you. Government was feeding you. And so on and so forth. So, try to be that leader that understands. Be that leader that understands so that they can always talk to you. I need them to always talk to you. Be the person they always talk to. So, grow into that place where they are free to talk to you. With this, you'll be able to be strategically positioned to be able to provide guidance to them, to be able to provide solution to the many debilitating challenges facing our teenagers. Thank you for being a part of today's broadcast. I want to encourage you to share this broadcast to as many parents, teachers, and leaders and pastors of teenagers that you can. Please subscribe to our channel, and every Tuesday you are going to get blessed and better equipped to lead our teenagers. Thank you for being part of today's broadcast. I look forward to seeing you next week Tuesday by 6 p.m. on this platform as we go ahead and get ready to groom our teenagers to be better. My name is Victor Wankwo. Thank you for being part of us.